Hi guys, my name's Marie and welcome to my Kawaii world. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I love and hate about Seoul. 5 things that I like and 5 things that I don't like. And I'm going to be making some generalizations here, so don't hate me, it doesn't apply to everybody, but these are just some general things that I've noticed when living in Korea. So the number one thing I like are Korean beauty products and skincare products. K-beauty products are so cutting edge and innovative, and they're also effective and they are cheap. There's such a great variety and a great selection here, and you can find inexpensive things, more expensive things, just everything that you would ever need when it comes to skincare. And I'm kind of a product junkie, or I used to be, but then after I got pregnant I started doing the natural skincare thing. But now that I'm no longer pregnant or nursing, it's just a free-for-all, and I've been trying so many different things. If you guys want to see my recommendations, I'll leave a link to that right here or right here. And yeah, it's just my absolute favorite thing about Korea. I love the K-beauty and skincare products. Number 2 is cafe culture. You can probably tell from my channel that I absolutely love visiting Korean cafes. And I feel like here the cafe culture is so amazing. Everything is so innovative and it's just such an immersive experience that's really fun. A lot of Koreans still live with their parents until they get married, so there's a lot of cafes out there where young people can go and meet up with their friends and hang out. And even though I'm no longer at that age, I still like to go visit cafes, especially with my daughters. We love like those places where everything is pink and gold, and it's so much fun for me. Hey guys, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Number 3 is attention to good design, and it's not just at Dongdaemun Design Plaza, but it's all over Seoul, especially in the more modern spaces. I feel like there's a great attention to detail with everything from the packaging to the furniture to the way that food is prepared, and I think that's just really well done, and I was surprised about that, but it's something that I really like and I don't always see it in the US. Number 4 is the clean subway and cheap transportation. Taxis are really cheap here. We don't take taxis a lot because it's not really safe for the kids, but we do take the subway, and it's 1,250 won, which is less than $1.25 for one ride, and that will take you anywhere in Seoul. I remember riding this subway in DC, and I think sometimes it would cost me like $9 to get from one place to the other, and that's just one way, which is ridiculous. Here the fare is just a set fare and it's not based on distance, so you can go anywhere for that price. It's amazing. And also the subway is super clean. It's the cleanest subway that I've probably ever seen. Maybe it's on par with Tokyo, but definitely a lot cleaner than DC, New York, and Barcelona, which are places I've lived. And I feel like it's just so modern and high tech, and it's great. Number 5 is safety, and Korea still has like some violence. You hear about stories on the news, but you don't have as many gun violence stories, and I don't worry about sending my kids to school and having them like shot by a crazy person. You just don't hear about that here at all, and that's something that I really worry about when we move back to the States. I think it should just be a given that you could send your kids to school and have them be safe, and that's definitely the case in Korea, and believe me, I don't take it for granted at all. Okay, these are the things I don't like about Korea. And number 1, you probably know this if you watch my channel, but it's the air pollution. It's the number 1 thing that affects my quality of life in Korea, and it's the only thing that like makes me not want to live here and never ever move back once I leave. It's just so bad. Pretty much since my family has arrived, we've all had this cough and like mucus, and it's not like it's just during the spring. That's not the case at all. It happens year round. Number 2 is the weather. It's very hot during the summer, very cold during the winter. The weather is just incredibly brutal and extreme. It's insanely cold during the winter, and it's really hot and humid during the summer. But it really does make spring and fall seem that much more amazing. I used to eat a lot of spicy food like tteokbokki, just really spicy stuff, and it was no problem. But then at some point I started getting acid reflux, and I think I had like a stomach ulcer. I love spicy food, but I had to really cut back at one point. And the thing that annoyed me about living in Korea is that spicy is like a neutral flavor here. So even with my kids, sometimes we'll order things that are not supposed to be spicy, like noodle soups and mandu or dumpling soups, or even like a quesadilla or like honey garlic fried chicken. When we're dining with our kids, we'll usually ask if something is spicy, and even if they say no, you can still sometimes expect to find like a hot pepper in your soup or red pepper flakes in your food. I don't think they're trying to be malicious, but I think that what like an American or non-Korean would consider as spicy, a typical Korean would probably think it's not spicy. So I do love Korean food though, and I have the restaurants that I know serve kid-friendly food, and that's where we frequently go for like our average family meals out. So number 4 is like, I feel like I'm being kind of mean when I say this, but I feel like it's also the truth. So an example of this is when you are getting on the elevator or getting off the elevator, you have to stand right next to the elevator, or else it's totally acceptable for people to like squeeze their way in front of you. So if you leave like a foot of space, then you should expect somebody to like walk right in front of you and cut you off. And also, if you're getting off the elevator, then you should totally expect everyone to rush in before you even have a chance to get off. And like, when I first came to Korea, I was so offended because I remember one time when I was with my stroller, I had Valentina at the shopping mall, and then I left about a foot of space in front of me so that the people getting off the elevator could come off before I went on. But then another mom with the stroller came in, like squeezed her way right in front of me, and then like it was, there's a question as to whether I would be able to fit on the elevator, although I was waiting there first. So I mean, that's so annoying. But I've grown a thicker skin since living here, and I'm gonna really have to check myself when I move back to the States, because like, I don't want to be that person, but in Korea, like, that's just normal behavior. What am I missing here? I feel like I'm not understanding some sort of cultural norm. And don't get me wrong, it's not everybody. There are definitely instances where people will line up for the subway and let those getting off come off the train before rushing on themselves. But this kind of thing happens often enough for it to be really annoying for someone like me, an American who's just not used to all the pushing and shoving that goes on. And the last thing is beauty standards. But I think this is actually an issue everywhere, like the beauty standards for women, unreasonable beauty standards. We had that with Barbie in the US. Korea is a homogenous culture, and everybody, has similar features, so that it's easier for them to impose a certain standard of beauty on women here, which is like a narrow face and like big eyes with double eyelids. There's this thing about big eyes, being very slender, having white skin. That's what is considered beautiful. And if you are dark, or you have small eyes, or you have freckles, or you have a big face, or if you're over like 110 pounds for women, you can be fat shamed. I don't like that. But I think it also exists in other countries, including my own. I think it's just a lot more pronounced here. How you look is like the most important thing. It might be even more important than like education or status. So I don't really like that personally, and I don't want my girls to grow up here because of that. I know that they'll have a lot of that in the US because we have that problem as well. But yeah. But anyway, every country has its good and bad points, and like all of these things I can deal with. The only thing I can't deal with is the air pollution. That is an absolute deal breaker for me. I do love Korea, and I'm gonna miss it so much when I leave. The shopping, in many ways, it's very kid friendly, it's safe. I mean, I'm gonna miss all those things about Korea. So every country has its good and bad things. You just have to weigh them against each other and decide what's best for you. Those are my thoughts. I'm really curious to know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree, so leave me a comment below. And check out this playlist for more videos about things to do in Korea.